We've got tonight, don't need tomorrow.
Thank God I don't have to work tomorrow. That's the only thing I can say about that. Speaking of which.
Yeah, it's the holiday, Labor Day holidays. Everybody's so excited they just can't hide it. And get an extra day off from work. And the Vinegar Syndrome sale as well. And the finale tonight of the Cruel Summer Slashback here on DEADPIT, boys.
Well, this is certainly a cruel evening to make us watch these fucking movies. Listen, I'm going to tell you something right now.
What? What'd I do? This was your idea.
No, I know it. No, I know it's my idea. But so help me God, if you try to say something nice about either one of these movies, I'm going to fucking come down there and clothesline you right off that chair. Right in the middle of the stream.
Listen, Uncle Bill. Listen here.
I'm listening.
I've got a special message for you.
How about you lay off the balls in your mouth? I'm sorry if you are tired of sucking dick and you need to lick taint balls now. I'm sorry that you're a loser who only eats ass every other day. I'm sorry that you're so goddamn bored with your life. You're such a nobody, a nothing, an insignificant little ant. So bored with your life. You have nothing going on in your life. You have no girlfriend, no boyfriend, no friend.
That goes on for like another 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, we might play the full one someday when everybody's really trolling us or somebody.
Yeah,
someone.
You can't use the power of Rambo against me, buddy. That ain't right.
But yeah, that was a hell of a rant the other day. To be honest with you, Rambo helps me through work quite a bit, especially with those like streams that he does.
Yeah,
where he's like, half of the people on the stream seem to be pissing him off or something. I don't know. It's very entertaining. You get messages like that pop up every once in a while.
I listen. I'm not joking when I say, because I was just like watching his stream before we got on this one. At least almost like once a stream, he'll have somebody trolling the shit out of him. And I'm like, who the fuck? Like, I mean, we have a troll maybe once or twice, a month or something, but it's like every stream there's somebody on there.
Right. People are fucking with him, yeah. But
I don't understand it.
He does good with it, I guess. Rambo does.
I mean, it's actually like one of my favorite things is when like he goes off on trolls on there, but yeah.
But lots of stuff going on, man. Holiday weekend. I'm excited to do this show because, we're going to talk about both of these movies in detail, but Tenkiller in particular is the first time that I got to check this out, the remastered 4K transfer of this, Uncle Bill, so I could see it. I can see clearly now.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good transfer of the movie. I'll say that.
Yeah, and you got boobs on the front, ass on the back,
as it should be,
and then the original artwork there on the front. The only thing missing is they should have had the guy's face in plain view, the killer, because they don't try to hide that at all.
I can't wait to talk about that killer. Torables.
Short for Tor. That's what they said in the movie. Short for Tor.
That's one of the. Oh my God.
Vanderhoff. Yeah. You want to go through the chat real quick and then we'll get started with the movies? Because this is a different format show. If anybody is just checking this out for the first time. And if you want a good way to check out all of these shows archive style, they are all up on the podcast feed, Uncle Bill. I've put them up chronologically on the DEADPIT podcast feed. You can check us out on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher. No, Stitcher's not around anymore. Spotify's around. And Google Podcasts, if they're still around, whoever's still around. But yeah, Vanderhoff is in the house. He says it's a shame to see this series go. It was great. A lot of people seem to like this series quite a bit, so we appreciate that. Jackson Jack. He said there is a poll up as well. He said there should be a third choice in the poll. Yeah. Neither.
I mean, I know which one of these is my favorite, but it's by a very narrow margin. Like, they're both fucking awful. They're just like some of the worst slasher films ever. Mm-hmm. To me, there's only one or two films, I told you this, that are like, okay, if we had what do they call those things? Like an iceberg of shitty slasher films, right?
Right.
At the very top of that shit would be Scream 81. To me, that's like the most worthless slasher film of all. Nothing happens in that movie whatsoever. Right. So that would be number one. And then right below that would probably be one of these movies that we're going to talk about. And like, I mean, then there's other stuff that would be in there, like Final Exam and shit like that. But yeah.
Bradley Taylor's in the house. What's going on, man? Dirk, which actually the new episode of the Euro Crypt is going to be out a week from, no, it's this coming Saturday, I think, from the time people are hearing this. And I think you're going to be a special guest on there, Uncle Bill. Isn't that the deal?
Yeah. You didn't know it? I thought everybody knew it, Bulls.
Goblins Inc., Suspirian Night, Scratch Bueno, Stuntman Mark. Vanderhoff is in here, of course. Kevin Smith, Witch Hunter, Jim. Simply Jim. Welcome, Jim.
Just Jim.
Kentucky the Cunctator. The Mayor, he says MVD and Barnes and Noble are having a 50% off sale going on right now.
I looked at that MVD sale and it's like, I still wouldn't pay those prices for even like
most of the prices on that MVD sale is higher than Amazon's normal prices. So yeah, welcome everybody. Ken Carlson, Edward 5150, Max Bailey, Nathan Mills, Punisher Batman fan. Now, tonight's show is the final Cruel Summer Slashback show we have done. This makes the 10th show that we have done on this. So it's a grand total of 20 slasher films that we have taken a look at over the summer. And the gimmick with these, and I think this is true, this is, if we continue to do these, we might not stick to this because it's going to get harder and harder. But these were slasher movies that we had never reviewed on the show, and primarily from the 80s. I think all these but one or maybe two were from the 80s.
Yeah.
So that was the rule this year. If we do it again, that's a big if, who's to say? We'll ask Tom Atkins. We probably won't stick to that because there's not many that we have not. I mean, there's still some for sure, but enough to fill out a whole summer of shows again, probably not.
I bet we could find
there'll be more that'll come out by next summer.
I mean, there seems like there's always something coming out that we don't know about somehow or another, but
yeah.
So, I mean, to give everybody an idea, like this show in particular, was based on like two films that I absolutely did not want to talk about because like they're the two, to me, they're like, I don't know how to explain them, but a lot of people really did want to see these reviewed and they kept getting brought up over and over and over again. So I was just like, fuck it. Let's just make this like the show where we talk about these. I mean, surely there's got to be in my mind. I'm like, sure, there's got to be something redeeming about them after I watch them again.
I think there's redeeming, like at least funny shit to talk about for both of these movies.
There's funny shit to talk about. Maybe sometimes like unintentionally, most of the time unintentionally, but like, well, I'll just wait.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about these movies. So, digging into it, the first one, if we do them chronologically, is Terror at Tenkiller.
That's right,
Uncle Bill. Straight out of the mid-'80s.
Let me tell you something about this cover, too. This is incredibly misleading.
Although that outfit is worn in the movie, though.
Yes, but this makes this movie look like it's the most killer damn thing of all time. Like, it's the perfect slipcover for a slasher film. You think, oh my God, like, there's just shit, like, going crazy in this movie, slashing. And
you can see the nipple going on there, kind of.
Yeah, and there's not. I promise you that this is false advertising.
But yeah, I mean, this movie is kind of infamous in that it's one of those 80s slasher movies. I would say bottom of the barrel 80s slasher movies for sure. But up until this Vinegar Syndrome release, the only transfer that anybody had seen of this was from that videotape. And I think it's one of those occurrences, good, bad, whatever you want to call Terror at Tenkiller, where it's kind of a miracle that they had gotten the original elements back to remaster this in 4K. Does it need a 4K? Probably not. The Blu-ray would have been just as good.
Right.
Because this was a movie that was made for home video. Thus, you can see the square full frame, it's not widescreen or anything. It's like it was made for video. No. I think by United Home Video.
It was made with a budget of $40,000. So, I mean, yeah, by United Entertainment Pictures, which, I mean, $40,000 even back then is not a lot of money to try to make a video. It's shot on 60 millimeter. Yes. It was originally released directly to video. Yep.
And funny thing though, too, real quick before we get into the movie, United Home Video or United Entertainment, whatever, ultimately became VCI Home Entertainment, which is still around still this day. And they were the ones that originally announced a Blu-ray of this before, I guess, someone from Vinegar Syndrome was like, hey, you guys, Tenkiller, you guys.
Take a guess. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, that's how Vinegar Syndrome got it, is because VCI always had it. It was always theirs up until, Vinegar Syndrome picked it up a couple of years ago whenever they started working on the remastered version of it.
So I'm curious, like, take a guess at what other film United Entertainment released before this one that actually, like, got them thinking about releasing this film.
Didn't they do The Ripper? Wasn't that one of theirs?
That might have been one of them, but that wasn't the one that was like directly before this one. It's one that recently is on Vinegar Syndrome site. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay.
Think Shitty shot on video recently was put up on Vinegar Syndrome.
The Last Slumber Party.
No, it's actually Blood Cult.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, that tells you though how big the video boom was in the mid '80s. I mean, the budget of these movies, they were budgeting them just for VHS copies, and back around this time period, you were getting $60 a pop on these tapes, selling them to video stores and customers and everything.
Yeah, when you watch, because I actually unfortunately watched the documentary on this fucking thing, which is actually a lot better than the movie. And it's like 30-minute long documentary. And they're talking about that back at that time, United knew that if they spent like X amount of money, then they could 100% make a profit with the video stores just by like locally, like even just putting it out there and like different regions putting it out there in video stores. So they gave them $40,000 knowing that no matter what happened, if it was the biggest piece of shit of all time, like they'd still make their money back and more.
Right. I mean, think about that. Yeah. $40,000 budget, and the tapes themselves were $60 a pop. So they really don't have to sell too awful many tapes to make their money back and then start making profit.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Tenkiller, by the way, Sammy, real quick. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're going to have to make that a regular thing. Uncle Bill rants on something or another.
I actually have an idea for the next video.
People seem to like it. It's got like 3,000 views, I think, already.
But, yeah, so this is kind of like the show where we dissect these movies. And this Tenkiller movie, I thought it was going when Vinegar Syndrome put it out, I bought it immediately. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. It's a slasher film I've never seen.
So had you never seen it until okay.
Never seen it. I mean, I'd heard of it, but I was like, this is going to be, I mean, even a bad slasher film is usually like great, right? So you're like, especially one you've never heard of or seen or anything like that, really. And I remember watching it and I'm like, what in the hell? Like nothing is happening in this movie, like at all. Except for there's a couple scenes where this girl appears to be like floating in the water from just like the sheer density of her tits. Like there's a scene, she's in the swim pool. I was like, is she being held up by them? Like,
that's a flotation unit there.
There's no drowning that girl. But Yeah, it just wasn't what I expected. I'll put it that way. Like, it's very deceptive in the marketing.
Well, I think they did that a lot in the 80s, but I mean, we can go ahead and kind of talk about the plot of the movie. It's going to be killer, Uncle Bill, because this movie is set primarily all at Lake Tenkiller, which there is a real Lake Tenkiller, but it's not in Oklahoma. Maybe it was, I don't know. That was confusing. But the movie begins at the lake, and there's a murder, of course. And then we fast forward immediately. We meet up with Leslie and Josh, who are a couple that are having issues at the swimming pool. And Josh is just kind of a controlling asshole. And Leslie talks to her friend Jana, who is planning to get away for the summer to go to the lake to work. She's worked there the last few years, make some extra money, and just hang out by the lake and swim and have fun and everything. So the whole movie, and I don't understand this, like that.
The whole movie, I don't understand it either.
Well, the asshole character Josh is trying to get in contact with Leslie or whatever, and they're almost trying to act like, hey, who's the killer here, when they tell you who the fucking killer is immediately. Like,
there's within no the first like
20 minutes of the movie or so.
There's no, I mean, you see him in the very first scene, right? Like one of the very first scenes in the movie is like that.
Well, you clearly see him in the second death scene in the movie, the hot tub scene.
So there's no surprise. This is what I'll tell you all right now about this movie, because somebody said this movie desperately needs a red herring or something. It did. It needed like something at the end that was like, because it's a straight up, just like Final Exam, where you immediately are introduced to the killer, and he just goes all the way through the movie, but he's the most vanilla, boring ass dude that like just does really like nothing notable that hasn't already been done in the slasher film. The only notable thing about this character is his name is Tor, and
short for Tor,
and he's just a guy that works on boats. There's no backstory to why he's doing it. There's no backstory as to who like he is or anything like that. And I guess in some ways that could be good, but I feel like this guy is so boring that he needs a backstory. Like he needs something going.
Well, the only thing is that he's kind of a womanizer. And the other, I think the opening death scene was another waitress that he had a thing with and ended up killing or whatever. And now he's fixated on Leslie, who has the big tits throughout the entire movie. The other, this is the funniest thing. This was more entertaining than the entire movie because my wife was watching this with me, part of this movie. And the opening, especially the opening half hour or so, which is where this is. And she's talking about the Jana character, who is Leslie's friend.
Right.
And is like, God, look at how flat chested that girl is. She shouldn't, because she was wearing like, I think she was already wearing the bikini at this point. Or maybe she was getting ready to try on the bikini or something like that. And then, I don't know the story with this, but there is one cut scene where the Jana character is, takes her top off and tries the bra on and clearly has fake titties in this one scene. And then that's it. It goes back to, she has, the chest of an 8-year-old boy for the entire rest of the movie. I don't know if like she was hoping that she would get her tits done before the movie was made and made the director go in and film that. I don't want to show off my new titties on here.
I don't know what the story is behind that either, but it's very, very odd. Synthetic, yeah, man, it was good to meet up with you too on the round table. I want to do it again when I can actually be on there the whole time too. But so okay, they go out to this lake. They're camping and all this stuff. They're trying to get away from this boyfriend who keeps calling her and like he's harassing her, and apparently he's beat her up before and all this stuff. So he's an asshole. And while all this is going on, there's a character named Preacher who is like, it's like somebody from around here. He's got like a beach nut hat on.
Yeah, that hat's killer. That beach nut hat.
He's like what is he, like the director over the dock, like the boat docks or something like that?
The manager maybe or something.
Yeah, and he, one of them, Jen, I guess, has a boat and loans it, from her father, something like that, and he kind of sets her up, and Tor is the guy that works with him. So for no reason that I can figure out, Tor decides that he's going to follow Preacher, when he goes over there to check on him.
Mm-hmm.
He sees Preacher spying on one of the girls and is like pissed off by that and gives this horrible monologue, man. It's like one of the worst delivered and written monologues ever about I don't like filthy minds and filthy people and all this shit. And then kills him. And this is the only gore scene in the whole movie. It's fairly decent though, but it's like probably
there's a couple. There's one more.
There's two, man. The other one ain't worth a shit. So this one though is the one where like he saws through like his arm with a knife, and there's no blood or anything, but at least it's something. At least it's not just like
the dude wasn't like his hand was moving and everything, but he wasn't making a noise though. That was that scene was totally quiet.
Yeah,
he's getting his fucking arm cut off,
and I don't know if is he supposed to be knocked out or dead already? Doesn't he stab him before that? Something happens like right before that.
I don't know.
I don't know why I'm trying to make sense of this movie, but so you see that, and that's like the big gore scene in the movie to me. Like that's the main one, and it's just okay or whatever.
Yeah, there's another one though, dude. The one that I was talking about is the scene where he stabs the girl in the back, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. But I mean, you don't see.
I wonder what happened with that though, because evidently it was like some sort of mold of this girl's back that they had elaborately done, and it didn't look horrible, but they just showed like an initial stab scene, and that was it. And like he's stabbing this girl, and there's no blood on his knife. There's no blood splashing up in his face. Like they could have easily fixed that and made it better, but I don't know what the hell.
I feel like they were working on real limited time and budget. Well, clearly budget, but there's a couple of scenes where you're like, I mean, they're clearly ADR stuff that they put back in there. And
the whole movie is ADR.
Oh yeah, that's right, because of the cicadas or whatever that were fucking with them.
There's parts that they use of the audio, and you can tell how loud the bugs are from the movie. But yeah, like all the dialogue, the main dialogue in the film, they had to go back and redo because it was just unusable, evidently. And the director, which Ken Myers, the director, Kevin Myers, the guy that plays Josh, but he was the one that basically did pretty much everything aside from mainly directing the movie. And they interview him in the documentary and everything. And, I mean, nobody's going to fucking tell you that Tenkiller's a good movie at all.
Actually, there's a couple people in this chat that are saying that. And I'm just like, I'm confused, but
the fact that it's a $40,000 budget movie and none of these people got paid, they were pretty much saying they were there to just fucking shoot it. I mean, I can forgive a lot in it. Like I think that it's not entertaining, but it's got some goofy, stupid shit in it that the fact that it was done for so little money is kind of, I don't know, I can kind of appreciate that, I guess.
Well, here's my problem. I can forgive just about anything in a slash film except being boring. And this is just a boring movie because there is long stretches of this movie where it's just those two girls talking about
life,
like that life and that relationship and their jobs, and it's like it's like that, man. It's like we're talking about 10-minute long scenes where it's clear they didn't have anything else to do but fill up time, and this is just the most mundane conversation about her getting a job and like working at that restaurant and that boyfriend and shit. And I'm just like, why am I watching like an old Oprah episode?
Did you notice this? And I had to figure out what this song was because they played it throughout the entire fucking movie. And I took a classical music class back in college that this song was included in that class. That's how I knew it. I was like, what in the fuck is this? So I started looking up classical music songs and numbers and old time. It was Beautiful Dreamer's the name of the song. The Stephen Foster, the guy that wrote My Old Kentucky Home, was the guy that wrote this song that they played throughout the entire, I guess it's public domain. They played it throughout the entire freaking movie. You know what I'm saying? That one song like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that song's playing while she's asleep and like he's outside.
It's playing all the time.
It's on a harmonica too, right? Like somebody.
Yeah, they play it on harmonica. They play it on the piano. They have like an orchestra version. How is that suspenseful at all? I have no idea. People need to go back and listen to that fucking song.
The only good thing I will say about this movie is somebody in Jim on here said it is the locations are cool for a slasher film, but like so is every other Friday the 13th movie. Really, it's like at least they could do something.
They were for sure inspired by Friday the 13th. The end of the movie, though, like, everybody's dead. Well, I ain't gonna fuck it, spoil it. Who cares?
It really doesn't matter.
It's Leslie and Tor fighting it out, right? Yeah. And Tor can't swim, Uncle Bill. He gets in the water. He's like, help. He's got a knife. He's like, help.
Keep in mind, he works on both. That's his fucking job. Just to let you know.
Help me. Somebody help me.
Yeah.
And they also have like they're setting up a fucking sequel, boys. Tenkiller 2, Tor's Revenge, where like he just splashes out of the water at the end and it freezes, and then some cheesy 80s rock song plays or whatever.
I'll tell you one thing though. One other thing that you didn't mention real quick about this movie that cracked me the fuck up. It's in both of these movies too, and it's equally hilarious in both of them. Is that there's like like the lead girl's the narrator, and so like there's scenes in it where she's like, it's just like this too. It's like, Jim really wasn't doing well that day. I don't know what was wrong with him, but I felt like that he was like mad at me, and that's over top of the movie.
I'll never forget that summer at Tenkiller.
Yeah,
I don't know how I got away.
It's like, you remember the in Silver Bullet where the sister narrates it? It's kind of like that, except way dumber. Like the dialogue is like,
you know what it reminds me of? Is Silent Night, Bloody Night. They did that in that too. Yeah. Fucking terrible.
That one time we went out to Tenkiller and almost got murdered by Tor.
It was an awful summer at Tenkiller. I'm glad it's over. I often try to think, why did I survive such an incident? Blah, 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 blah. The girl that played Leslie, they couldn't get in the making of for some reason.
I wondered that too, like, because I mean, she's the star of the film. Really.
She was like, no.
I don't think, Synthetic asked a good question. I don't think we ever bail on these movies. Like, I watch them all the way through just for the sake of the show, just so I can like go through them.
Dude, we've seen way worse movies than Terror Tenkiller, though. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, actually, the next movie we're going to talk about is way worse to me.
I think so too. Yeah, like, okay, with this one, it's just boring. Like, technically, aside from them fucking the audio up, it's technically a well-made movie. It looks good. The shots are good in it and everything.
Yeah.
You can't say that for fucking Last Slumber Party, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
You're exactly right. So the one thing about this movie, about Tenkiller, is it looks like a movie. Like, it looks like a professional movie in a lot of sequences, right? You can tell at least it was filmed mostly on film stock, and like somebody kind of knew what they were doing. Maybe the cinematographer, maybe not the director, but the cinematographer. Who knows? But like, somebody at least had a decent sense of like how to set up scenes and block and stuff like that. So you cannot say that at all about The Last Slumber Party.
Right.
That just is not the case.
I don't think so either. But we will get into Last Slumber Party here in a second. We do have a poll going. And here's an interesting thing that we can say about the poll. So the movies that won their respective shows over the next week or so is going to be on a gigantic poll for everybody to get on and straddle.
Yep.
And the winner at some point this fall, we will do a live fan commentary over. We may invite the patrons on as well. So that'll be at some point in the not so distant future. But the final poll for the Cruel Summer Slashback, Tear at Tenkiller 39%, and Last Slumber Party at 61%.
Listen, how?
I'm confused, yeah.
Is it because it's actually, I think that Last Slumber Party is actually goofier and has like a metal soundtrack. That might be the only two things that make it, maybe let people like. I cannot figure out how that movie. I tried 3 or 4 times to get through this movie.
Did you watch now there was an updated Blu-ray of it, right? Did you have that?
What, the updated Blu-ray or what?
Last Slumber Party.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, you talking about the AGF one?
Yeah, I don't have it. I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, I've got it.
Was the picture quality any better at all, really?
Well, yeah, when it's actually like the picture. See, the problem with this is, and they tell you this at the beginning of the movie, there's certain scenes in the movie where like they didn't have the elements to do it, so they had to take it off like a VHS tape or something like that. And they splice those in there. So there's certain times in the film where it'll just go from like looking really good to like a 1980s VHS tape that's been played 15 times. And there'll be like, 10 seconds of that spliced in between, something that looks remastered. So other than that, though, the main part of the film looks really, really good. But I guess they were trying to do it to preserve the whole film for people, but it is distracting. I'll say that when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious what it would look like because I've always felt that this movie looked off. Like, I don't know if I think it was shot on some sort of film and edited on video is what it seemed to be. But I mean, like I said, I'll have to check that Blu-ray out at some point and see what I'm sure there's documentaries and everything on it as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm more interested in that sort of thing than I am watching actually the movie again. But I've seen this movie a lot over the years. Now these 2 movies were put together on that DVD set.
Yep.
From like 20 years ago.
VCI Entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah, from like 20 years ago, I think.
Yep, 2004. They released Tenkiller and this in the same, which is bizarre because I didn't know that either when we did this.
But the thing about this movie is, and I'll, if you want to talk about the plot, you can do that. But this is just...
I fucking don't know what the plot is this movie, to be honest.
This is an ineptly made movie. Who made this had no fucking idea what in the hell they were doing. That's what I gathered.
Yeah, it seems that way for sure. So, okay. So it centers around like a group of the 3 main leads are 3 teenage girls. And like in this scene right here, you can kind of see it's like a Halloween ripoff where they're walking down this long corridor.
3 vanilla
talking to each other. And they're all getting together to have like a slumber party. And there's a couple of dudes that are constantly like trying to get in and get laid. And that's just like the basic 80s comedy of that time period. In the meantime, there's this creepy son of a bitch they call him Science, who is like this guy. They think that's that guy dressed in a surgeon outfit who goes to school with them, right? And they think that, you're led to believe that that's might be the killer in this movie because he's obsessed with like scalpels and things like that and dressing up in those kind of outfits and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, it's just him stalking them in that house for the remainder of the movie, really.
And you get to see this over and over again.
You do like every about 10 minutes. And I'm not kidding when I say like that dude shows up and he'll run through the frame and like into a door behind them or something. Or like they've got him like sneaking around like he's fucking, Wile E. Coyote or something, like just running into different rooms and stuff behind him.
Jackson Jack is saying the trailer would have fooled me. It looks kind of, I mean, it's fun in the fact that it's just so fucking like terrible.
It's not fun to me. It's brutal to me. Like I don't find this movie to be. The only fun thing about this movie is that guy, because he pops up and you just die laughing because it's so silly. Like it's not at all scary. And unfortunately, it's another one of those films where there's long stretches where it's just a bunch of girls at a slumber party talking,
just sitting around on the couch.
Yes. Actually, synthetic. Yes, the music in this movie is better, in my opinion, than Tenkiller because there is like a rock metal soundtrack and a bunch of synth. So you might like the synth.
The synth though is like Yamaha keyboard synth from like, Radio Shack in 1988. Like
it sound like that.
The synth music to me sounds like shit. I didn't think it was very good. But
you know what it's better than though? It's better than like chaotic jazz.
Beautiful dreamer. Some of the dialogue in this is funny too. I wrote the line down. Tommy, you bastard, I can't believe how gross and immature you really are.
There's so many bad fucking lines of dialogue in this movie, man. I don't even know where you'd begin. And like I did notice a lot of the scenes where
they promote drunk driving in this movie too.
They do, yeah. A lot of the scenes where there's people talking go on forever. They just go on way too long because they just, I guess, are trying to also get time added to the movie.
Yeah, there is a lot of derogatory remarks that would get someone in trouble nowadays in this movie.
Yeah,
Kentucky Cunt Tater's got a good point there.
I'll tell you something else that pisses me off about this movie. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I cannot stand in a movie of any kind when they've got like music playing, and in this case, it's like metal music, and then the actors are trying to talk over top of that. So they've got like the soundtrack playing in the background, almost at the same level as the actors talking. So you can't concentrate on either one of them. You're just fucking
That's another example of the director whose name is Steven Tyler. I don't think he has any relation to the Aerosmith Steven Tyler. At least I hope not. This is the only movie that he directed, and thank God, because this dude clearly had no idea. Like, okay, the killer in this is an escaped mental patient.
Yep.
And then midway through the movie, they introduce another killer out of nowhere. The guy Science, which Uncle Bill's talking about, is sick of getting picked on by these fucking guys, the boyfriends of the girls, and decides to climb up the window in the same, like he's got the scrubs on and everything like the other killer does. Right? And slits that guy's throat with a scalpel as well. And then that is where this scene comes from. Shocking the killer of the movie.
That needs to be something we just add in to some parts of the show.
Oh, it's going to be. I'm going to leave it on here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a staple.
What did you think about the main girl, though? The redhead. I'm not going to remember any of their names.
So for the longest time, I was annoyed. I thought like, okay, this girl has been in, what other movie was she in? And I don't think that she was in anything else. I don't think that anybody in this movie was in anything else aside from the guy that played Science, who was actually a really successful producer after this movie. But we'll talk about that here in a second. The girl, I'm thinking that she resembles the girl that was in Creepshow 2 in the raft scene. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're right. She does.
But it's not her. It's a different actress.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. She's just really super annoying to me throughout this film.
Yeah. All these girls are annoying, though.
Everybody in this fucking movie is annoying. And not just in like a fun teenagery way, but just in like they're just like reading all these lines off of a cue card right in front of them or something. Like it just, I don't know what's
it's just like every scene. Like if you really looked at every scene in the movie, there's something bad wrong in every scene. Like the continuity in this movie is horrible too. Like a character will immediately get out of the shower and have dry hair, completely dry hair. Just looks like they walked in from another room. I wrote that down over here. There's really no, for a movie called Last Slumber Party, you would think that there would be a lot of at least nudity in it and boobs and stuff like that.
There's nothing like that.
None.
No.
There's none that I remember, at least. I will say the killer in this, like, I didn't hate. I thought it was kind of goofy, but the killer would have been fine had he had something else to do. Like, all he does is slit. They have the same trick where they've got like the blood pumping out of the scalpel and he slices everybody's throat.
Yep.
Same thing.
That's a very, very common thing in both of these movies too, by the way. Either a knife or a scalpel or something like that and just cutting somebody's throat. That happens like with just the bloodline from where they've got the, tubing and everything. It's just so boring. And the worst part of the movie is really yet to come, man. To me.
Well, what do you think of them what do you think of them introducing another killer into the movie in the second half of the movie? Like, just out of nowhere.
There's actually a couple movies that have done that, and they're all fucking stupid. Like, whenever like another killer comes in like that.
But the thing is like that science character is barely in, like.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's in like the first, there's like a scene where they're at school. And he's in it, and they're making fun of him for maybe 2 minutes. And then he shows up one other time.
They yell at him at the liquor store or something.
Yeah, the liquor store scene. Yeah. And that's it. And then
he
don't
just
see him
decides,
again.
I'm going to kill him. Yeah, you never see him again until he decides to climb up there and kill that guy violently.
I don't know what version of this film that you watched, though. But the version of the film that I watched made absolutely no sense. The ending made absolutely no fucking sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched it like twice just to see, like, am I missing something with this? Because I can't figure out what they're trying to do with it. So
I don't think they knew.
So
I think it's one of those instances where they had the name. And they had some cute girls that could be on the cover.
Yeah.
And that's all they cared about. They're like, oh, we've already got our movie. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. I think so too. I think there had to be something to it like that. So at the end of the movie, the main redheaded girl, who I refuse to learn her name,
Peggy. We'll call her Peggy.
She's being chased around.
She looks like a Peggy.
Being chased around by the surgeon. I'll just call him the surgeon. And
I lost track of how many, go on. Sorry. I was thinking out loud.
Well, yeah, that last scene lasts like 20 minutes, by the way. Like, of her being chased around this house, like a bunch of stuff like happening and, just her trying to get away from him. Then another guy comes home or something. And
it's her dad's the doctor.
It's her dad.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. So he comes
or
home.
One of these girls' dads.
I don't even know. And then anyway,
it's a movie within a dream within a movie.
Yeah. So she gets her throat slashed in a pool, and then she wakes up from this dream, and she's like, "Oh shit, thank God," or whatever. And
that's got to be, if we ever do another DEADPIT film, we got to use that line. Oh shit, thank God.
I mean, she said something to that effect. She just jolts up in her bed. And she's like, "Oh shit, thank God." So then the next part, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be one of those movies where everything's just a dream. None of these people are real or whatever. And like, everything goes back to normal. But then it turns out that guy apparently still exists or something.
That was only part of it that was a dream. She just dreamt the part that she got stabbed.
I guess. Oh, fuck. The second to last slumber party.
I just picture The people that were making this were fucking hiring a kite on something the entire time. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, they're sitting in a room eating Domino's pizza and smoking weed or something and just coming up with stupid shit.
Well, apparently this was all primarily filmed in like either the director or the cinematographer, like a friend of theirs' house, which is that house, right? And like they had like only a limited amount of time. Those people were living there, so like they would go out and do something, and they would film certain scenes, and then they had to get everything cleaned up before they got back. So that alone doesn't make this a really good setup because they got to rush around and try to get all this shit done, which is clear when you watch this movie. Like they didn't have a lot of takes, like, to do anything.
No, I would imagine this was shot in like less than a week.
Oh, it had to be, yeah. But and like, you know, 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah, this is like an hour-long movie too. It's not very long, very short movie. And thank God, because it's probably the longest 1-hour movie that I've ever seen. They had there's no nudity and really no good death scenes in this movie either.
No, there's nothing in this movie that's any good. I don't know why this movie is. I don't know why people were like clamoring to get this movie sold out in like what, a day or 2. I think.
Yeah. Well, there was only 1,000 copies though. I think
there shouldn't be 1,000 people that would even think about buying this movie, man.
But they were tricked, man. I mean, that's how they did things in the 80s in a video store. The big excuse then is you didn't have the internet to actually look up reviews for these movies. So all they saw was the cool looking cover. You had some scantily clad girls. It's called The Last Slumber Party. True. This is after, the Slumber Party Massacre movies. This was 1988.
Yep. I mean, so you're right. It does have all of the basic cliches that you would think would be in a movie like this, right? So you think you know what you're getting into in this movie, and you don't. Like, that's part of the problem. Like, you've got no idea how bad it is because it looks like it would be killer. And it's only 72 minutes long, but it fucking feels like it goes on for fucking 2 or 3 hours. Like, actually, this version might be longer because they might have added in.
It's the director's cut edition.
No, it's not. It's 72 minutes long. So I tried to give you an idea. This is a little bit longer than an hour, and I've tried 3 times to get through it in the last like week. And I would get like, 20, 30 minutes into it, and I just have to tap out, try again.
I would be interested in seeing like any special features on it just to hear about the making of it, like what happened. I don't know what all's on that edition, but I'm not a fan of this movie though.
This does have an audio commentary on it, but it's like, it's as bad as the movie. It's one of the most boring audio and they're fucking like, the part that pisses me off about it is the actress and the cinematographer in it, and they're like going on about how good of a job they did. Like, and I'm just of course. No. They're giving themselves high fives and shit throughout it, and by the time it ends, they're like, God, you know what? That was actually pretty good for what we had. And I'm like, that's pretty good for $1.50. Somebody should have smacked him in the back of the head like it was in that recording booth.
Yeah, there's a lot of instances in this movie too where literally these girls are just standing in this room and they're like, oh, let's go in here and watch TV and shit like that. Like that's basically what they do. These girls are in this house the entire movie, aside from the opening scene where they're walking. It's the last day of school, I think. I don't know if we mentioned that. And you just don't care. You're like, God, what the fuck, man? And technically, this movie is so poorly made. Like I said, I don't know how they did it back then, but to me, it looked like it was shot on maybe like 16 millimeter, and they edited it on videotape.
This is the best summation of these 2 movies I've ever. This is perfect. Hold on. These broads watch TV, and the Tenkiller broads take naps and talk. Yeah,
pretty much.
That's the whole movie. Yeah. Oh God! I think somebody asked. I think it was Synthetic. Is it better than the Boogeyman? No, I would watch the Boogeyman like 2 or 3. Well, it depends on which Boogeyman you're talking about. You talking about the Uli Lamel Boogeyman, or are you talking?
Everybody
about
wants to go boogie with a Boogeyman. The
Boogeyman that was in the. Was it the 2000s?
He's probably talking about the 80s Boogeyman, I would think.
Okay.
Dude, I don't know who did the 2000s.
There was a damn Boogeyman that came out like not too long ago, wasn't there? Like Stephen King.
God damn, that was awful, man. Holy shit. Yeah, that was bad. That was one of those HBO Plus movies or HBO Max or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's poorly made, man. Like parts of it looks totally like shot on video. Parts of it look like really shitty quality 16 millimeter. That's why I was interested in what you thought of the transfer on it. I mean, I'm sure they cleaned it up as best they could, but
yeah, the like I said, the actual parts of it that they could clean up, they did a really good job on. It's just that it's one of those movies that it's spliced in with like footage that, you know, was completely destroyed basically, and that happens quite a bit.
The opening, closing credits it looks like public access from 1988. Yeah. Like that's what it looked like. I don't know what they used there, but it was pretty bad.
I mean, the most jarring thing to me watching it was like everything's super cleaned up at the end of the movie. It looks really great, and then her death scene where she gets her throat slit in the pool is like a VHS from 1980. Like it just switches to that real quick, just for that scene, and then switches back, you know, to being like remastered. So it's really noticeable. Like it's jarringly noticeable.
So yeah, that is The Last Slumber Party. And to give you a little bit of the history with this, I mean, this 2-pack that VCI did 20 years ago was one of the very early bargain DVDs. I think it was Deep Discounts where I got it from. Like $5.99, $6.99, whatever the cheapo DVDs were priced in.
Yeah.
And we saved this. I think me and Uncle Bill watched both of these together for the first. Well, maybe not. You said you hadn't seen Tenkiller, but I know that.
No, I've never seen it.
I think you and I watched The Last Slumber Party together, maybe, or something like that.
If we did, then I've completely blocked out of my memory. Which would
maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. But like I remember watching it even then, and I was like, man, this is rough. Like, and I hadn't seen nearly as many movies as I have today. But looking back on it, I mean, if you're a fan of bad movies, you could find something enjoyable out of both of these movies, but you have to really look. Like the titty thing and Tenkiller is kind of funny. It does have a couple of good gore gags in it. The fact that it was such a low budget movie, like for instance, man, $40,000 in 1986, 87. And then there's a new edition of it 40 plus years later, almost 40 years later. That's pretty insane. Like there's not a whole lot of movies that can say that.
I wonder how much this fucking thing was filmed for. It had to be similar.
$350.
What's up, Patrick? We ain't seen him in forever, man.
Patrick Farmer, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, this is one of those movies. Like, actually, to me, both of these movies are so bad that they're not fun. They're just bad. And they have the cardinal sin of being incredibly boring and just tedious to watch. Like, I've seen bad slasher films that I still enjoy because they're fun, they're exciting, like they've got something going on, some kind of hook to them. But these are not that. You've seen all of these like death scenes and stuff. They've been done 1,000 times. It's all cliched. The dialogue is just mind numbing, and you have to go through like 20, 30 minutes like of it at a time. It's just, and then nothing happens ultimately.
Well, neither of these directors knew much of what they were doing, especially the Steven Tyler, the Last Slumber Party guy. Like there was just so many like ridiculous things added into that movie, but it was the 80s. I think both of these movies were big in home video market for obvious reasons. I mean, the covers tricked people. They did that a lot around that time period. That may even be good enough to do a show at some point on, possibly. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not very hard to please, but are these two movies ever anything that I'm going to voluntarily go back and rewatch? Probably not.
No.
But I've seen way worse though.
I will say that Tenkiller is like fucking Shawshank compared to Last Slumber Party. It really is.
I thought it was the better of the two movies, definitely, but it's still getting its ass whipped in that poll.
I don't understand that.
We got Tenkiller 40%, Last Slumber Party at 60%. So it looks like Last Slumber Party has won. So yeah, that means we'll have one mega poll that we're going to put up that everybody can hop on to here. Probably,
yeah,
probably tomorrow. I'll have that poll up that'll have all the winners on it. Let's see. I think I've got them saved here. We'll go over them.
Vanderhoff says, name a bad slasher movie that you enjoy. Okay. I mean, that's fairly easy because we've done so many of them on here. Like, I know for a fact that The Slayer is not a fucking good movie, but like, I enjoy it because it's got weird elements to it that actually and a really unique location too, that not a lot of slasher films have, that I kind of enjoyed about it too.
I would say Twisted Nightmare is the one too that I enjoy. That's definitely not a good movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, the winners, these will all be on one mega poll. Don't Go in the House, The Prey, Axe, The Slayer, Slaughterhouse, The Mutilator, The Initiation, Graduation Day, and Cheerleader Camp, along with It Looks Like The Last Slumber Party.
Yeah. So somebody actually mentioned Death Screams. That's another great example. Like, Death Screams is a regional slasher that's not really a great movie, but it's very enjoyable because it has memorable characters, memorable scenes. It reminds me of like the area that we live in too, which probably has something to do with it. But yeah, so for all those reasons, like it's one of those movies as well.
I mean, there's all kinds. To me, there's most of the slasher movies that we love wouldn't be considered good movies to a lot of people, but who gives a fuck? What you want.
I mean, I feel like there's different layers of that though too, because like most of the stuff that like would be considered cult to most people would be considered really kind of just normal to us. Like the stuff that we consider underground is like really, really underground, I think.
Well, at this point, yeah, as long as we've been doing the show.
Yeah.
But this has been a fun series of shows, man. Like these, I've actually really looked forward to doing these. Not only because some of these movies I hadn't seen before, but it's good to like cover a little bit of everything on Dead Pit. And these were all movies that we had never gave a proper review to, believe it or not, which is kind of crazy. A total of 20 different slasher movies from the 80s.
That's true, man. It was a great series of shows too. Probably one of my favorites to do because like slasher movies are just something that they're fun to watch. Usually, maybe not these two, but they're usually fun to watch and like easy to kind of get through. And like, you got a lot of stuff to goof on and talk about and that kind of stuff. But yeah,
for sure.
I'm hoping that, there's a lot of stuff, we got planned for the fall and the winter, and there's particular one show that you had planned for the winter that I think is a really good idea that we should be talking about soon.
Yeah, I think there's a few good ideas. We write everything down, boys. We take notes here. We're professionals. Yep. So any idea that either of us comes up with, we save it because at some point in time, we'll come back to it.
Kentucky Cocktail said, I've learned a lot about slashers and myself during this summer. That's good. That's always
like
really.
It's like a book club kind of for slasher movies.
Dirk says some variety, not covering the same 10 films over and over and over. That's true. A lot of people will do that. A lot of people just talk about the same couple films
for 35 minutes
over and over for a whole show for some reason. Jim says a great excuse to go back and rewatch some of these films. There's a bunch of fun shows.
Well, and I think just the format as well, like two movies, 1 hour, baklava, right? Booyaka Booyaka 606.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's been fun. We got other stuff coming up. I know reviews. We've got coming up patron requested reviews, which we're a little bit late on, but I swear we'll get to them. I Saw the Devil from 2010, crazy ass Korean horror thriller. We were talking about that. We were talking about an all-time classic from 1955, Night of the Hunter. That's one that'll be coming up. I've got a Blu-ray review of Squirm coming up in the near future. What about you, Uncle Bill?
I've got a Blu-ray review of Kingdom of the Spiders coming up. And there's a video that I'm probably going to try to do tonight. And I haven't even told you what it is or anything like that. I just want you to like watch it and like you tell me what you think. Like if it's
I want you to rub my butt. That's what
I'm not gonna rub your butt.
Why not?
I might whip your fucking butt. I ain't gonna rub
Also, to let everyone know, limited copies remaining of Into the Pit, the shocking story of DEADPIT.com. We've got 115 people watching here. I know not all you guys have your copy. So if you go to intothepitthemovie.com, we have signed copies, we have unsigned copies, we have copies that we have personally taken into Peking in Prestonsburg and spilt egg drop soup on.
Yum sauce.
And yeah, so intothepitthemovie.com. There is a big sale on shop.deadpit.com as well, which we got some new shirts on there, like Jumby Wants to Be Born Now, the t-shirt.
Yep.
And the Mexican Madman shirt.
That's such a great idea for a shirt.
Shit, yeah.
You know what though? That's actually something that we've never done. That might be something worth like doing one of these days. You guys ever cover Herschel Gordon Lewis's movies, the Godfather Gore movies?
Nope.
Those never were really my like cup of tea, but I've never watched several of them all the way through. So, I mean, that might be something to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we've never covered for sure.
Yeah.
But these shows have been great, guys. We've been doing these Vinegar Syndrome shows as well. Are we doing the last one tomorrow? We still doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last day we got to cover it. So
day 4, the final day. So will there be anything worth a fuck on there on the out of print sale? Probably not.
No.
Tune in and find out. People love them shows too. Holy shit. Like 1,400 views already on that show earlier today. It's insane.
Yeah. And the thing about it is like with those shows, it's kind of like educational in a way because we show you like what's on there and what's going to go out of print in about 20 minutes, if that. So you got like time to like maybe grab stuff that you don't necessarily have. So I think it's a good set of shows. The problem with that set of shows to me is by the time like I even pick up my phone to fucking order any of that stuff that's going out of print, it's gone.
It's gone.
You've got probably literally 2 to 3 minutes. And
Uncle Bill looks at his phone and gives us this.
That's gonna be perfect for this fucking show using that.
It's sold out. Oh shit!
That's a killer clip to just use. Okay, I'm glad. At least we got that out of the last slumber party, man.
That's true.
Anything else?
That's true. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff though, guys. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We got lots of shows coming up. Just stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, share the channel with your friends, family, neighbors, distant relatives, some of your granny's buddies that they play poker together with, all that. And we will catch you guys next time over at DEADPIT.com. I'd like to tell people, thumbs up the video, Uncle Bill.
Would you?
Yes. Thumbs it up with violence and fury and just love everything about it. Right, Uncle Bill?
Yeah. You hit the heart button, then you hit the ass button, then you hit the go fuck yourself button. Follow that up with the I don't give a shit button.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last South on the left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. Do you know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
We have a literal jukebox full of songs and thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So DEADPIT on Patreon.com. Join today. Tiers start at only $1, but I'd recommend at least the $10 tier.
You can do 50. The stock market's crashing around